I'm Dr. Pagad. I'm a consultant cardiologist at Somaiya Super Speciality Center. Today, on the occasion of World Heart Day, I'll be talking about heart failure. Heart failure, as you all know, or most of you would be aware, it is an end stage of various cardiac problems which you see, like for example coronary artery disease. At the end stage, when the heart becomes really dilated and the pumping efficacy reduces, the wall starts leaking and you have a more than normal sized heart, and that is when a patient goes in clinical heart failure. The life of a patient with heart failure is actually miserable, as you all could be aware of. Some people whom you must have seen, they are breathless, they are not able to do their day-to-day activities, they usually need a lot of medications and therapy. Traditionally, the management of heart failure ideally was only fluids and medications, fluid therapy and medication. We asked them traditionally to restrict their fluid intake, restrict their salt intake, and put them on various medications which are usually there to support your heart as well as try and reduce the fluid inside your body so that the heart has to pump against a lesser resistance. Now, what is exciting today in the era in which we are living is something called as the device therapy, which I find it personally very fascinating. This is a certain subsets of heart failure patients are indicated to undergo what we call as device therapy or a cardiac resynchronization therapy. It's also called as biventricular pacing, which is something like a traditional pacemaker, but you have three leads into your right ventricle, the left ventricle, and your right atrium, and the heart is made to contract in a more synchronous fashion, in a more independently synchronous fashion, so that the pumping efficacy is reduced, which would translate obviously into reduction of symptoms, better lifestyle for the patient, and lesser breathlessness as experienced by the patient, which later on will translate into lesser medications and thus improving the day-to-day lifestyle of the patient. Thank you. Another important topic which I would like to share with people is about sudden cardiac death, which is a very, very dramatic condition, I'm sure, which you all would be aware of, where a person dies suddenly when he was fully, totally normal just a few minutes back. Now, this is something really life-shattering, and it could be devastating for the family members or the onlookers. Now, usually heart failure patients or patients who have their pumping efficacy which is reduced or maybe less than 35 or 30%, those patients are more prone to develop this sudden cardiac death. So again, device therapy is something fantastic to be offered to these kind of patients. So this device is placed below your left clavicle, and there is a lead which enters into the right ventricle. And what this device actually does is it detects a fatal arrhythmia or an irregular fatal heartbeat, which is very irregular and could be fatal, is recognized by this device in time, and it gives what is an appropriate shock to the patient or to the heart, and which could reconvert the arrhythmia or the irregular heartbeat into a normal regular heartbeat, and that could be really life-saving for the patient and patient's life. Thank you.